停止天空之间，像泪在眼眶盘旋。这也许是最后一次见面。沿途经过的从前，还来不及再重演。拥抱早已悄悄冷却，海潮声淹没了离别时的黄昏，只留下不舍的体温。星空下拥抱着快凋零的温存，爱只能在回忆里完整。想把你抱进身体里面，不敢让你看见嘴角那颗没落下的泪。如果这是最后的一眼，在你离开之前，能否让我把故事重写？
贫强固弱，可得也。你醒啦，早上好，一起去运动一下吧。这茶真香。
亲爱的，来这里，有你陪我一起真好。
Hi everyone, I'm Jing Chen. Today I am bringing you the all-in-one workflows for LTX 2.3. LTX 2.3 has been out for a while now. I've run a ton of tests on it and watched a lot of videos from other creators, and figured out a set of parameters that work really smoothly for me. They cover single image and text to video, dual image first and last frame control, 3 image first, middle, and last frame control, digital human lip sync for speaking and singing, and motion transfer, 5 workflows in total. After watching my walkthrough, you'll have a really clear understanding of all the different ways to work with LTX 2.3. You all saw the demo in the intro. The overall results are great, and with my workflows, plus the prompt templates I've put together, when you run them yourselves, you should be able to replicate the same results. Next, let's dive into the workflows. Starting with the simplest text to video and single image to video. For every workflow, I've divided up the sections by their different functions, so it is super easy for you to follow along. You don't have to worry about getting confused by the node connections, just because we use reroute nodes. For those of you who might not know, here is a quick tip. For example, if you see a get node used here in the sampling section, to find its source, just select the node, right-click, and select to jump to source. There is a lot of content in the actual workflows, but breaking them down into modules makes them much easier to understand. So I'll just go over a few key points. You can check out the standard settings when you use them yourselves. First, the image input. In the official workflow, when passing the reference image to the latent, it first downsizes then upsizes the image for reference, which will definitely cause a loss of image detail. I've tested this myself when the original image isn't very high resolution. The detail loss from this process is really noticeable, so it is better to pass the full-size image directly. Second, the negative prompt section. I used KJ Snack Node here. The first function here is to prevent subtitles from appearing. For landscape videos, it eliminates subtitles most of the time, and it also reduces subtitle appearance for vertical videos. Though there is still a chance they'll show up, so I highly recommend rendering landscape 16:9 videos. Second, video generation tends to add unwanted wrinkles and cause buzzing audio. We also use negative prompts to avoid these issues. Third, the sampling section. The first sampling pass uses 12 steps, with a sigmas from T8. The second upscaling sampling pass uses the standard 4 steps. On my tests, this noticeably improves consistency. If you find a parameter combination that works better, feel free to swap it in. Finally, for the prompt templates. First, a quick note, this model also has really solid Chinese comprehension. You don't have to only use English prompts. When you use them, just copy the text from the prompt template file I put together into your preferred large language model, along with your image, general duration, simple action timestamps, and exact lines, and send it to your go-to LLM. Once the LLM fills in the details, just copy it into the prompt box. For this model, I recommend prioritizing the image-to-video method. I find the aesthetic of text-to-video is harder to control. If you need text-to-video, just toggle this switch on. Next, let's look at the workflow for 3-image reference with first, middle, and last frames. The prompt template for this workflow is the same. When using it, take your 3 images and a simple prompt, send them to the LLM. The main thing to look at is the latent processing here. The 3 images correspond to the frame positions they're placed on. Usually UL put them at the first, middle, and last frames, with 0 and -1 for the first and last frames. Middle frame is calculated and passed through automatically. If you have custom frame position settings, you can also flexibly adjust them as needed. A key thing to note, since we're using 3 frames, depending on your scene content, it is best to set a longer duration, around 8 to 10 seconds. Otherwise, the footage will be sped up, and the result will be abnormal. The workflow for dual image first and last frame reference works almost exactly the same as the previous 2. It is just the 3-frame reference workflow, with the middle frame removed. When you download it locally, you'll understand it with a quick look. I have to give a special shout out to the digital human workflow. Digital human generation is what I think LTX 2.3 excels at the most. The camera movement is supernatural, and the generation speed is pretty fast too. This workflow is actually built on the single image workflow, where we originally passed an empty audio latent. Instead, we separate a clean vocal audio track, encode it into the latent, add a latent mask, and feed it to the model for lip syncing. It is pretty straightforward. For the prompts here, you don't need the LLM to write them for you, just a simple description of the character's movements, camera movement, and where they're speaking or singing. The last one is the motion transfer workflow. It uses the official IC LoRa. It is best to align the pose of the reference image with the first frame of the video. Otherwise, you'll get a flash on the first frame. The fix is to generate your input image using ControlNet with the pose from the first frame of the video, or use an editing model to reference the pose from the first frame of the video. Let's look at the latent section here. We pass the ControlNet for the video's motion into the video latent for reference. We're reusing a native 720p resolution here. Instead of downscaling by half, then using a second upscaling sampling pass, we use high resolution in the first pass to capture as much motion detail as possible. Lower resolution is more likely to cause blurry fingers and other artifacts, so it is pretty demanding to run locally. I recommend running this workflow online if possible. I've also uploaded the online version of the workflow. Try to run it with a plus plan. The standard running hub tier is likely to run out of VRAM with this workflow. But a quick reminder, motion transfer currently works best for slow movements. Replication is really solid. Like this example, for fast motion transfer, I haven't seen any perfectly clean results yet. The demo at the start of the video looks pretty good, but it still has flaws. The model still has room for improvement when it comes to high dynamic motion. One animation might give better results, but its generation speed is way slower. You can also try using depth map and edge map ControlNet for video generation yourselves. I won't be covering that here. The online workflows include the single image one with the prompt template, as well as the dual image and 3-image workflows. I've added an LLM node to all of them to help write prompts, to make them easier to use. For the local versions, you'll need to do this manually, which saves more time and system resources. That is all for the workflow breakdown. You can test them out online first, and download the workflows and models from the cloud drive to run locally if you're satisfied. For the cloud drive, I've uploaded the models, prompt templates, and all 5 workflows to the cloud drive. Just download the models and place them in the correct folders locally. If you run into any issues or have suggestions, leave them in the comments for me. One final note. In the future, video models that generate both audio and video together will be the mainstream. LTX 2.3 still has a lot of room for improvement right now. The community continues to refine this model over time. All kinds of issues will be fixed gradually until the model reaches its full potential. While I was editing this video, the Timber reference LoRa was released. I'll test its performance later. If it is good, I'll make another video to share it with you. I also keep an eye on new content from the community. That is all for now, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe.